Esa enai el harim, me'ayin yavo ezri. This one's on page 188. Esa enai el harim, me'ayin yavo ezri. I lift my eyes unto the mountain, from where my help comes. I lift my eyes unto the mountain, from where my help comes. My help comes from the one. My help comes from the one. My help comes from the one, creator of heaven and earth. Esa enai el harim, me'ayin yavo ezri. Esa enai el harim, me'ayin yavo ezri. My help comes from the one. My help comes from the one. My help comes from the one, creator of heaven and earth. Chag Sameach. Shabbat Shalom. I have everybody in YouTube land. Hi, Mom.
Hey, Dad.
So it is not only Shabbat, but it's also Shavuot, which means that actually the liturgy shifts quite a bit, which is why we need to use this book today and tomorrow. And so things are just a little bit different. So Beth, would you come up and would you read the prayer before lighting the candles on page 384? 384. Yes.
May these festival lights open our eyes to the joys in life, beauty that delights the eye, freedom to be ourselves, the knowledge of Torah that shapes our moral being, the heritage of celebration that unites us as a people. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, for giving us life, sustaining us, and enabling us to reach this season.
Light the candles. Yeah, they're trick. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner Shel Shabbat ve'yom tov. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. And the festival Kiddush is on page 386. Vayher vayvoker yom hashishi. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol am ורוממנו מכל לשון וקידשנו במצוותיו ותיתן לנו אדוני אלוהינו באהבה שבתות למנוחה ומועדים לשמחה, חגים וזמנים לששון. את יום השבת הזה ואת יום חג השבועות הזה, זמן מתן תורתנו, מקרא קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי בנו בחרת, ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים. בשבת ומועדי קודשך, באהבה וברצון, בשמחה ובששון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני, מקדש השבת וישראל והזמנים לחיים. Okay, so we need to make sure everybody knows everybody. So if, let's cross the aisles and make sure everybody's beloved. Suri's been here a bunch of times, but not all the time when everybody else is. On a different page in this book. First prize to somebody who can find Shalom Aleichem in this book. Call it out if you can. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaSharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Barchuni, Barchuni l'Shalom. Malachei HaShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. 142. Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. 142. Third stanza. Barchuni l'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem l'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So when it comes to Chag, it kind of assumes that we're all warmed up. And that's the function of the Kabbalat Shabbat Psalms, the Lachadodi and all the Psalms at the beginning. It's to kind of warm us up. But as I said, it presumes on the Chag that we're warmed up. So we actually don't have Kabbalat Shabbat services. We go kind of straight in to welcoming the Shabbat with the Psalm and then right into the Baruch Hu. So page 390. 390. Mizmor Shir Yom HaShabbat,
טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. From the top. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. להגיד בבוקר חסדך, ואמונתך בלילות, עלי עשור ועלי נבל, עלי היגיון בחינוך. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. כי שמחתני אדוני בפועלך, ואמסה ידך על רעלים. מעלו מעשיך אדוני, מעולם ומחשבותיך. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון, עליון.
So everybody say hi to Lex. You missed the hellos across the aisle, so glad to see you, Lex. We are on page 411 for Yismachu, which is Ya'al, rejoice. What could be wrong with Sinai, with cheesecake, with Torah, with all of us? Yismechu v'malachutecha, shomrei, 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 Shabbat v'korei, onei Shabbat. Yismechu v'malachutecha, shomrei, 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 Shabbat v'korei, onei Shabbat. Mekadeshei Shvi Shabbat, Kulam Yisbehu Vayitangu Metuvecha Shabbat. Yismechu v'malachutecha, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat v'korei, oneg Shabbat. Yismechu v'malachutecha, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat v'korei, oneg Shabbat. Ve'hashvihi ratzita bo v'kidashto Shabbat. Chemdan yamim oto karata Shabbat. Yismechu v'malachutecha, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat v'korei, oneg Shabbat. Yismechu v'malachutecha, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat v'korei, oneg Shabbat. Zecher l'maseh b'reishit Shabbat. Zecher l'maseh b'reishit Shabbat. Yismechu v'malachutecha, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat v'korei, oneg Shabbat. Yismechu v'malachutecha, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat. expansiveness, blow out the week. Kore oneg, who call it a delight, Shabbat. Please rise to the Baruch Hu on page 394. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai Amvorach Leolam Vaed.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Vaed. Please be seated. There's a handout at the edge of each of the aisles. Sacred words, even the evenings. Wisdom opens gates locked around our hearts. Asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim. Bechochma poteach she'arim. The evenings, evening the frayed edges of our lives. Ma'ariv, Aravim, Amen. Understanding alters with the times, changing seasons, cycles divine. Uvitbuna mishanei itim, umachalif et hazmanim. Evening, the evening the frayed edges of our lives. Ma'ariv, Aravim, Amen. Paint diamonds on the canvas called sky. Soothe our souls with a lilting lullaby. Umisaderet hakochavim b'mishmorotehem b'rakia kirtzono. Evening, the evening the frayed edges of our lives. Ma'ariv, Aravim, Amen. Rolling into the light. Rolling away the light. Golel or mipnei hoshech, vehoshech mipnei or. Evening, the evening the frayed edges of our lives. Ma'ariv, Aravim, Amen. Spirit of the night, we bless your name. Eternal light, eternal flame. El Hai v'Kayam, Tamid Yimloch Aleinu, Leolam Vaed. Evening, the evening the frayed edges of our lives. Ma'ariv, Aravim, Amen. We are loved by an unending love, an unending love. We are loved by an unending love, an unending love. We're embraced by arms that find us, even when we are hidden from ourselves. We are touched by fingers that soothe us, even when we're too proud for soothing. We are counseled by voices that guide us, even when we're too embittered to hear. We are loved, loved, loved by an unending love, unending love. We are loved, 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 loved by an unending love, an unending love. We're supported by hands that uplift us, even in the midst of a fall. We are urged on by eyes that need us, even when we're too weak for meeting. Loved, loved, loved by an unending love, an unending love. We are loved, 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 loved by an unending love, an unending love. Embraced, touched, soothed, and counseled. Ours are the arms, the fingers, the voices. Ours are the hands, the eyes, the smiles. We are loved by an unending love. We are loved, loved, loved by an unending love, an unending love. We are loved, 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 loved by an unending love, an unending love. ואהבת אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים, ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל. 400 for the Shema. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. Amen. Turn to page 407. In the middle of the page, there's a reading for Shavuot. Let's read this. And I'm going to ask you at the end if any of the names that we're reading ring a bell. This is the line of Perez. Perez begot Herzon. Herzon begot Ram. Ram begot Aminadav. Aminadav begot Nachshon. Nachshon begot Salma. Salma begot Boaz. Boaz begot Obed. Obed begot Jesse, and Jesse begot David. Any of those names ring a bell? David. That's right, he is Ram. And Perez is one of the twins that was born to Tamar and Judah in the book of Genesis. If you remember the story of the book of Tamar and Judah, Tamar is actually Judah's daughter-in-law. She's married to Judah's first son who dies. That means she's entitled to marry the second son. Second son she marries and dies. That means she's entitled to marry the third one. Except Judah kind of thinks Tamar is bad luck and says, let's wait until the third one grows up a little bit. Then I'll call for you. Go back to your father's house. Only he doesn't. Tamar happens to notice that young Shelah has not so young anymore and has grown up, but has not been given to her as a husband. So she dresses up, we're all of age here, as a prostitute, just when she knows that Judah is going to be around, and tricks Judah into not really tricks, but impregnating her, because he doesn't know that she is Tamar because her face is veiled. Everybody says, hey, Judah, did you hear? Your daughter-in-law is pregnant. He calls her out, starts calling her out for being a prostitute, except the way she outsmarted him is, before he left, she said, give me your signet ring and your staff, and when you pay me with that goat that you promised me, I'll give it back to you. Only she takes off with his signet ring and staff, so that when he's calling her out for being a prostitute, she says, I'm pregnant with this person, and holds up the staff and the signet ring. And the most amazing thing, I think, in this day and age, where we have leaders who will blame the victim, do anything that they can do to deny culpability, never take responsibility. In Torah, Judah says, she's more righteous than me. I should have given her Shelah, and I didn't. And so now it's only right that she has these children by my family. The first twin who was born of that relationship is Perez. The line that we just read is the line of what we understand to be the line of the Messiah. So of this story comes Perez, who all the way down the line gets Jesse, who gets David. David's grandmother is the first convert to Judaism, Ruth. So we know from our classic sources, no less than the Torah, that the Messianic age, the redemption of the world, is going to come from these two stories. A woman who chose Judaism, and another woman who took justice in her own hands and did what she needed to do, and her father-in-law who supported her. Page 406, Mi Chamocha.
Mi chamocha b'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot, osef eleh, nora tehilot, osef eleh. Malchutecha ra'u vanecha b'kei hayam לפני משה ומרים זה לי אנו ואמרו אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד אדוני ימלוך ונאמר כי אדוני את יעקב ויעלו מי חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני
Baruch Shemo.
גאל ישראל.
Amen. 409 at the top. Let there be love and understanding. Help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts.
and
Understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Let's just keep singing that.
Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Let there be love and understanding among us always. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms.
We rise for the Amidah on page 468. This starts off the way we're accustomed to it, and then during our silent parts, we'll have the insertions for Shavuot and for Shabbat. Those are between four, especially they're different on 478 to 482. Yananai, 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 Adonai. Yananai, 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 Svatai, Tiftach. Yananai, 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 Ufi Yagid. Ufi Yagid, Tehilatecha. Yananai, 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 Adonai. Yananai, 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 Svatai, Tiftach. Yananai, 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 Ufi Yagid. Ufi Yagid, Tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Vekonei Hakol, Vezocher Chasdei Avot v'Imaot, Umevi Gula Livnei Bneihem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer Moshia Umagen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'Ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayei metim atarav le'oshia, Morid atah, Mechalkel chayim bechesed, מחיי מתים ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות מתים. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי המתים. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. We skip right to page 478 and continue to page 488, and we'll meet back on 492. Shalom bimroma, hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel ve'imru Tevel ve'imru Page 511, as we always do, pause and send our prayers out to those who need healing. Middle of the page on 511. Healing of body, spirit, psyche, self, relationship.
Sheberach avotenu mekor habracha lehimotenu. May the source of strength who blessed the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing. Let us say Amen.
This week we're especially praying for Howard Simon, Gloria Berkowitz, Gittel Bat Chana, Beryl Ben Sima Vishmuel Leib, Steve Gellis, Shalom Avram Ben Golda Yeshayahu, Harav Miriam Yael Chaya Bat Sarah Yitzchak, Maxwell Zwain, Menachem Mendel Ben Yehudit Michael, Luke Wright, Krendel Chaya Rafaela Bat Yehudit Sharon, Kathy Gale, Dolores Mikkel, Harav Eliyahu Ben Miriam Va'avraham, James Janelle and Bill Edgar, Eliatario, Vivian Chong, Wendy Chong, Devora Bat David Vachaya, Lou Boriello, Harav Yafa Rachel Bat Bela Chana V'Moshe Yitzchak, Kedem Ben Shoshana V'Ruvain, John Spiegel, Yisrael Hirsch Ben Gedalia Rivka Hinda, Maxwell Bayer, Shmuel Ben Leah, Yakobovina, Bat Shlomo Rivka, Bob Schwartz, and Bob Kahn. And to these names we add.
Simaresa Batina. Mi sheberach imotenu mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shalema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
May they soon know healing fully and uneventfully. So, churches sometimes have the darndest signs out front, sometimes amusing, sometimes very often thought-provoking headlines hanging from their signs. Now, we've been counting the Omer now for 49 days since Passover in anticipation of receiving Torah. Today, we'll be reading the Ten Commandments from the Torah tomorrow morning under the chuppah. So I was intrigued when I heard of this one church sign that read, "What is God's law? Sunday, 10 a.m." Now, we're either Jews or Jewish adjacent in this room. A Jew would be hard-pressed to try to answer the question, what is God's law, in a single morning service? Or even a day, or even a year, or even a life. For us, the answer is far too long and complicated. Because, of course, according to Judaism, God's law is not singular. The Torah, in fact, lists 613 mitzvot, laws, which interpretively spin off into exponentially more others by the time it reaches us in the 21st century. Still, as moderns, we also still understand that Judaism at its core is a religion of law and daily practices of those laws. But as I thought about this sign, what is God's law? Sunday, 10 o'clock. I found myself thinking about how much I love this holiday of Shavuot. Because it's this day that challenges us to think about what the Torah means to us and what it requires of us. Because it would be easy, and who knows, maybe that's what the sermon said on Sunday at 10 o'clock, to just say, do unto others as you would have them do to you. It's good. It's a good rule, right? Can't go wrong there. Absolutely. But is that expansive enough to guide a person through all of the ups and downs and complexities of relationships and circumstances through the days and months and decades of a life? The answer for me, anyway, is that it is insufficient and simplistic. There's so much more to my life than kindness, concern, thoughtfulness of others, all good things. But I think being a Jew requires more of me than that. And I believe that there are other moral imperatives. There are moral imperatives that must guide our days. Now, I also love Shavuot because our ancients always knew that Torah was both immutable and unchanging, but it was also flexible and adaptive and creative and cries out for individual interpretation. Which is why there is no accident that following the Torah we get this huge canon of what's known as Midrash. Maybe you've heard of Midrash before, maybe you haven't, maybe you heard it and don't remember exactly what it is. But if you've ever read the Torah and you stop and you go, what's going on there? That means that rabbis and thinkers and theologians have come up with multiple stories that explain what's going on in Torah. And those multiple stories of what's going on in Torah, they frequently contradict each other, they're frequently phantasmagorical, they're frequently unbelievable, but at its core, they're there to answer a basic question of what's in Torah. Now, being Jews as we are, we're not asked to believe any of them. We can find meaning in them. We can hold onto them as a truth for a day, a week, a month, a life, and we can switch, even if we can hold on to contradicting ideas. But we still have this marvelous, marvelous canon of Midrash. The countless ways in which our sages offer different ways to understand the moments of revelation that we create today and tomorrow morning is at the core of the Midrash that I want us to look at tonight. Now, I'm just bringing in like two little tiny Midrashim. There are hundreds. And as I said, some of them are contradictory, some of them make sense, some of them don't, but they're all to teach us something. So I'm going to pass these out, and we're going to read them, and we're going to talk about them. So no, it's not me lecturing. This is like a little study time. And while I'm doing this, I just want to explain that there are two different kinds of Midrash. There's Midrash Agadah, and if that sounds like the Haggadah from Passover, it's true, it comes from the same word. Midrash Agadah is Midrash that tells, that teaches us something philosophical, or it gives us an understanding. Midrash Halacha is Midrash that helps us to understand law. And what we have here are two examples of Midrash Agadah, which are not about law. They're really just about teaching through story. So who wants to read out loud? It's in English, not the Hebrew. Suri, read out loud. And where it says Hebrew, that you don't have to read the Hebrew. You can just say that. I translated that. That's the first commandment, right? I am Adonai your God, right? That's at Revelation. That's at Sinai. It's the first of the 10 commandments. So this is a midrash here on when, right? We come to the Torah, and the Torah says, "I am Adonai your God," and you pause, and you might say, "What does that mean? Why is that a commandment?" Or you might ask any number of questions, right? So this midrash here is about that particular commandment. So please continue. Mm-hmm. Okay, somebody else want to take the next paragraph? Beth, can you take the next paragraph? Yep. The word, that would be God. That's an euphemism. Right? So it doesn't say, "I am the Lord, all of your God," second person plural. It says, "I am the Lord, your God." I'm the Lord, your God. I'm the Lord, your God. Individual, first person. Okay. Singular, as opposed to plural. Keep going. Oh, Deborah. Yes. So, anything strike you in that? Anything, what strikes you first? Nancy? Hmm. Have you, that's a name for God that you haven't heard before. It's unusual, but. Mm-hmm. That's beautiful. It's true. It's true. So you're making the connection between the creator of the universe and how each and every one of us create worlds with our words and the words of the Torah. So clearly in classical Judaism, we understand like sort of God dictates this, right? And Moses is taking dictation, chiseling at the same time. No, actually the first one's God chisels, the second one Moses is supposed to chisel, right? But that God is in there. Yeah, absolutely, yes. Other things that strike you? Right. Yes. Or that there should be one law that never changes for all time, as some of our brethren might suggest, right? Rather than it being flexible, changing to different climates, different personal circumstances, different, exactly, strengths. Yes, absolutely. Ludicrous. Other things. Anything else? I love that there is this, that we have this in our imagination that we each, at Sinai, because the Midrash says that we were all at Sinai, whether we were alive yet or not, whether we were born into a Jewish body, all Jewish souls were there at Sinai. And that what it's suggesting is that implanted within us, we all received what we needed to receive. Directly encountered the divine, directly had implanted within us this sense of what our Torah is, our teaching is in the world. And in that, we are a chip off the old divine block, right? That's our God spark within us. But that we have within us the ability, with the tools that we've got, the teaching, right, the studying of Torah, right, to carve out our own way of forging justice, of forging peace in this world. I'm wondering if this midrash that we read either changes, well, I think it did for you, Nancy, a little bit, changes or expands the definition of God to you. Mm-hmm. Hebrew too, yes, that's the word. Mm-hmm. I love that, and yeah, when I hear that, it's what it's saying is that God is speaking in the language that each person needs to hear. Anybody ever get like advice and you just can't hear it, or it's coming at the wrong time, or the way it's delivered, right? Or then you hear something and it's just the right time and or the right person, and all of a sudden it's like ding, right? I think this is saying that, like, in this moment of revelation, we all had that ding, and we learned, and it's in us. Let's look at the next one. So the first one was a Pesikta of Rav Kahana, very, very old, about 6th century. Some say 7th century, some say 4th. We'll split it down the middle. The Sfat Emet is much more modern, not quite 200 years old, but the Sfat Emet is considered a pillar of classic Hasidic thought. So, so Glenn, you want to let's read that one, the one at the bottom. At the bottom, the very bottom. Stop right there. It literally says that. All the people saw the voices. Okay. So, no, exactly. No, it's very, very specific. Uses the I verb. So we're already looking at this is a multi-sensory experience. Whatever happened at Sinai, we don't know, but it was something that sort of transcends the usual sensory experience. Go ahead. Anybody else have experiences that where you don't need to believe because you just know something? You just know it. You don't need to explain it. You don't need to justify it. You can just listen to somebody on and on and on and on, but it's not going to change anything. You just know. So at least in this midrash, that's suggesting that this is God at work. This is also the experience at Sinai. But I'm also wondering if this text, or how, and if it does, how this might change or expand the definition of Torah for you. Ben? That's Torah. Yeah. Yeah, listening, your instincts they're powerful. Yeah, yeah. And from both of these texts, anybody else, how this might expand or change or shift the way you understand or might define Torah? Which means great is your faith. Mm. Mm. No, it makes perfect sense. It's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. And the revelation at Sinai, our all being there, receiving Torah, might not be something that, captures our imagination 365 days. Maybe you don't wake up in the morning and say, what did happen at Sinai anyway? What was that? Some of us do think about that often, but this is the holiday in which we go, what was that? What would that experience have been like? What might it have been like? And I'm wondering if either of these two texts might influence how you think about Revelation or Sinai, or that Sinai moment, or a Sinai moment. How? Yeah, it's true. We can't live there, can we? Yeah. We can't live there. Hopefully we take a little piece of that and that informs us. You have to remind yourself. Yeah. So I had something else I was going to add, but flew right out of my head. Guess it wasn't meant to be said. Anyway, I want to bless you all with moments of insight, inspiration, intuition, Torah, and moments that ask the question that Shavuot asks of us, namely, what does the covenant require of me? And me, and me, and me, and me, and me, and me. Chag Sameach. Shabbat Shalom. Let's rise for Aleinu on page 586. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, latet gedula leotzer breishi, shelo asanu kegoye haratzon, velo samanu כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. O may all created in your image become one in spirit and one in friendship. Please be seated. Forever united in your service, then shall your realm be established on earth and the word of your prophet fulfilled. Adonai will reign forever and ever. V'ne'emar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz vayom ha'u v'yeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad. Page 598 is the Mourner's Kaddish, which we honor those who gave us life, walked with us, held our hands, but who no longer walk this earth. We're in Shloshim for Jeanette Hecht and Jim Rothwell, and observing the yard sites of Nathan Bayarsky, Elizabeth Fulop, Shirley Frank Kamian, and Bella Pessin. Is there anyone else who's either in their year of mourning or is observing a yard site? If it is your custom to rise for the Mourner's Kaddish, I invite you to do so. If it is not, please feel free to remain seated. Page 598. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah v'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael b'agala uvizman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam u'lamei amaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shmei dekudesha brichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'imru Amen. Yehi shlama Rabba min Shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen.
Ose shalom bimromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru Amen.
May their memories always be a blessing. Going to close out with Ein Keloheinu on page 626. Yum bum 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 ba-da-da-da-da. Yum ba-da-dum bum bum ba ya-da-dum ba ya-da-dum bum 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 bum. Ein Keloheinu, Ein Kadonenu, Ein Kemalkeinu, ya-da-da 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 ya-da-da. Ein Kemoshiheinu, Mi Eloheinu, Mi Kadonenu, Mi Kemalkeinu, Yada 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 Mi Kemoshiheinu, Nodel Eloheinu, Nodel Adonenu, Nodel Malkeinu, Yada Yada Moshienu, Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Yada 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 Baruch Moshienu, Atahu Eloheinu,
Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Yedada, 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 Atahu
Moshienu.
Yam dum bum bum da 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 da.
Yum bum 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 ba da 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 da. Yum ba da dum bum bum ba ya da dum ba ya da dum bum 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 bum. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Shabbat shalom. Yes, Chag Sameach. Yes, Winston knows that unless he cuts it big, we're going to have way too many leftovers. We should do it anyway. And, oh, we forgot announcements. We have to do announcements. I forgot. Yeah, Nancy, can you do announcements? Yeah, we can eat while we're doing announcements. Announcements. Mm.
Well, this is nice. Thank you for reporting for me. We raised $21,913 from 210 donors during Hudson Gigs. We were the 9th in the top 10. Comedy night is June 10th. Tickets on site, on our website, or at the door. Cash only bar, cash for borscht, cash for pierogi, cash for raffle, cash for a 50-50. Tomorrow morning, 10:30, Shavuot morning services, and it's Yizkor also. And then after services, the Shavuot community picnic and ice cream social tomorrow. Bring your own lunch, a picnic chair, a blanket, music by Ben Rausch. Many thanks to Deborah and Mark Kahn of Downtown Yogurt for sponsoring the event.
Because they're bringing all the ice cream.
Yeah.
And fixins,
Actually,
toppings.
yogurt. They're bringing
It's yogurt.
froyo.
It's froyo, but
Please join.
you
It's
don't do
dairy.
Yeah, right. But you don't do yogurt socials. It just doesn't work.
Please join us for services next Saturday morning, June 3rd, be at 10:30 as Samuel Decker is called to the Torah as a bar mitzvah. Lovely event. I suggest people come. Tat Shabbat will be June 10th at 10:30. June 22nd at 8 p.m., we will celebrate Pride Month with an LBGTQ plus mixer, snacks and beverages. And then beginning June 30th, we are going to be experimenting with new Shabbat service starting times. First Friday and final Friday will be 6:30 p.m. All other Friday night services will be 7:30 p.m.
But we want feedback. Better, worse?
Okay. Seth, thank you, Seth, for pushing the button so that we live streamed it to people who are watching. Change the world one meal at a time with 1 hour of your week from 5 to 6 on a Thursday night. Please help us feed our homeless. And if you can't give time, you can give a donation. Just go to our website. And as always, more donations for the social hall. So we will be beginning soon. So if you haven't donated or pledged, think about it. Thank you.
We did get good news in the last 2 weeks. We now know that FEMA is going to give us an additional $750,000 for a total of about $2.2 million. It was like pulling teeth, getting them to consider that. We knew that if they would consider it, we'd get it. But we still have to, it looks like we're still going to have to raise the money for our own elevator. So, yes.
And FEMA is only 90% of the cost, so we come up with the other 10%. So out of 2.2 million, that's going to be 220,000.
Yeah, no, it's 90% plus. There's also things in that we know that we have to do, like getting our infrastructure that FEMA's not going to cover, like all the pipes that keep breaking. We're not going to do $2 million in the social hall with pipes that keep breaking. We got to get the pipes totally fixed. So So that adds up. So this is why we continue to raise money for the social hall. So anyway, cheesecake. 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 Bring the holiday. Make new friends. Cookies too.